Howdy! In our quest to correct the imbalance in the force, I want to cover the gender pay gap BS as I see it. As there are so many female proponents, we need to average this out by hearing the other side of the story, by hearing about the consequences and choices and really taking accountability, which is apparently in short supply. So allow me to pull up an article here that I found very useful for our conversation today. What you need to know about the gender pay gap. I'm sure it's been covered extensively, and I'm just putting in my 2 cents here today. A great article, a great study. It's objective and it sheds some light. I would say there are many multifacets to it, but this is sharing another point of view and really trying to debunk and demystify the narrative that we always hear to say women are always underrepresented, women are always underpaid, it's not fair, women are always marginalized, we're always putting them in the kitchen where they belong. And the truth, is much more balanced than we think. Even I remember on the US women's football team, where or soccer team, where they were commenting on how they were underpaid relative to the men. Many people have covered this too. The reality is that they are paid a fair wage. Yet what would they do? What would they say? You know the drills. They will still complain. So what women always will say is, you might find this hard to believe. After all, the idea of a woman making about 78 cents for a dollar earned by men have been drilled into us throughout our lives. So we've been really fed this narrative, and women always say we're underpaid, we're really underpaid. And that is that issue that they're coming on with, and really there is actually very little to substantiate the fact. And women today will complain, and for eternity, they'll still continue to complain. What can we do? That is really their female DNA, not to be satisfied, i.e. hypergamy, right? Women cannot go back in lifestyle. Facts. What do I mean by this? If you brought a woman to a 1-star hotel, then you brought her to a 2-star hotel, and you brought her to a 3-star hotel, a 3-star vacation, they aren't going to settle for anything less because they've tried a higher lifestyle. It's very, very female in nature. If you brought her to a 5-star hotel, the next holiday, she's not going to accept if you bring her to a 3-star. Now, women are going to start jumping out of the woodworks and say, whoa, it's not true. I ride and die. I'm a ride and die chick. Really? But if you have a choice, all women giving a choice with no consequences, they will of course pick the better one. Men will weigh the pros and cons. They'll be like, okay, I want to go 5-star, but I'm happy to 3 because I think I want to use that money or resources for something else. And it makes sense relative to that. But with women, they just look at, because they're the one not paying for it if you think of that way. They're going to use the men's money when they go on a holiday, right? And when they do that, then obviously their choices become unlimited because they have no consequences. So here's the point: women cannot go back in lifestyle. Done and dusted. We can definitely cover this if that's a point of contention, or if we can expand it. More than happy to go back and revisit this, alright? Now, going back to the article, what were some of the key findings, that we got out of this? Summarizing this article is that, if you just take an average of all wages, men are paid higher on average in terms of a pure summation. But the reality is women are, number one, choosing jobs that pay less, because here's the reality: it's easier, it's less stressful, it gives them the freedom of time. There might be other factors there too, but the reality is that they are picking jobs they are not paying so much because they value time, right? And in today's modern world, right, women can be who they want to be, contrary to what they say. They have freedom of choice to do anything they want, literally. But now they are the most miserable. And if given a choice, women given a choice of what they want to be, they're increasingly exhibiting whole behavior. Sorry to say that, but I've said it, alright? A deadly cocktail of instant gratification, unlimited attention, especially from men, fast money with no skills, besides trading in youth and beauty. You can say the women are somewhat seduced, you can say, by these quick wins to trade away their most valuable resource. And sadly, without parental guidance, which is where our society is crumbling, without society to guide them on the right path, the choices the modern women will take are really to their own detriment, and they often lament, where are all the good men? As if like they have no input in this. But the question here is, are you in fact a good woman? And increasingly today, men are questioning this because they are seeing a lot of cons nowadays in the dating market. They're seeing a lot of cons today in the relationship arena. And you're seeing men making logical choices in absence of emotions. All right. So drawing us back to this, women can choose what they want to be, but they often choose the jobs that are less difficult, less dangerous, less technical. Like I said, they are shying away from STEM, science or technology, engineering, mathematics. These aren't women's default choices. They want cultural choice, language, they love the arts. And the reality being is these are really not really employable skills. There are niche jobs out there, but just not enough. Society needs to build. We need to create value. And STEM type of jobs, being a mechanic, being a plumber, really the construction, these are really creating value for society. And oftentimes we overlook the contributions of the average man who really does extraordinary work and allows other people, they build their foundation, their platform. They build the house that we live in. They build the the electricity and infrastructure for us to enjoy our creature comforts. But we take that for granted. We assume that it's always going to be there, that someone's going to do it. It won't be me, and I choose not to do it, right? So the choice has always been there for women. But hey, women are picky. Nothing to be shy about. But the reality is this: women are picky. So if you see here again, if you start to factor other variables in, women actually actively pick it. And if you remove these factors, as detailed a bit more in the article, please check it out. I will definitely put the link down in the description there. If you net off all these effect, the gap is actually 7 cents to $1. Oh wow, poof, that gap has gone. And I can see it actually shrinking further. But of course, for the one who's arguing, I mean, you do debating, you try to get the facts and bend it to suit your narrative. It's very logical and everyone does it, right? There's no magic to it. They're going to do it. But when you have a person arguing logical matters, using illogical arguments and running on emotion as a fuel, it's a recipe for disaster. But looking at statistics, you can look at the US Department of Labor, the fact stands. There is virtually no more gap. The difference here really just lies in, as detailed further in the article, on just the fact that men are a bit more disagreeable on average. And they will definitely ask for more money. They will ask for a pay increase. And if you ask me, my personal thought is men have a lot more responsibility and burden, We aren't living in a dreamland where we have Women throw money at us just because we know how to shake our booty, right? We actually have to go out there and make a living and provide for the women who wants to go, like I said, back to that 5-star hotel. So we are actually under a lot of pressure to perform, not just for ourselves, but for our women, for our children, for our community, for our parents, family, siblings. Under that pressure, we get that courage, you saying, or desperation. It goes both ways, to ask for more. And that's why men are faced with that pressure. When you're doing sales, for example, you've got to meet this sales target. If you don't, you're going to have a tough month, right? Your line manager is going to give you the hair dryer treatment, huh? And if you're not performing, so what you got to do, you got to see the client, right? You've got to not only just persuade them, you've got to be insistent. Keep on picking up that phone, dropping them that text, giving them some insights, pitching to them, giving them solution, giving them value, being persistent. Because if not, you're going to go back there and get it from your boss. But if you're not doing sales job, for example, you're doing a back end role, there isn't that kind of target, you're doing arts, people aren't going to really penalize you that way. And even if you did, you're like, yes, all right, because I got a man and he's going to cover me. But as you start discarding quality men out, the great average man who's really going out there doing extraordinary things, you're going to have to suffer the same way that we are. And you know what? It's making you all miserable. So being a man isn't all cut out as it is. There are benefits being a man. But I can tell you this, there are so many cons also being a man, that only now I think ladies are hitting that tip of the iceberg, really. There is so much more, no? It's just the crunch time for Titanic, and we're going to see it happen more and more, right? So women are picky, we've established that, right? And they are not easily willing to give up their creature comforts, because women can't go back in lifestyle, right? So the same thing, they have enjoyed this air-conditioned office environment. Are they going to take a greater pay but work in the field? No. They are not going to sacrifice their creature comforts for more bread. Will there be outliers? All these ladies are going to come up from the woodwork. They say, oh, hey, that's not me. Good for you. Obviously, you probably exhibit some masculine characteristics too, and I'm confident that you do well as a man. But you're not the average. The average woman doesn't prioritize money, you can say, as their first choice. They want to have resources, they want to have money, but not necessarily the work to income ratio that men have no choice but to do. Women, if left to their own devices, and seriously now they're choosing easier jobs. OnlyFans, which typically pay less for the amount of effort you put in, right? Of course, the other job which I mentioned there, that has a hidden element to it. Yes, you're being remunerated more, but there are hidden costs that everybody knows. So you can say, yeah, it's an easy job and I earn good money, but there's actually a big con that's attached to this type of job. The adult industry, the entertainment industry, there is a cost you have to pay. So if you think that you can just rise above it and just go, I will it away, sorry to say, it's not going to happen, because people are not retarded. They're just going to look at it and go, hey, I've got a lady that hasn't taken the easy path, that makes good money with little effort. She's actually worked really hard to build value for herself and the community. And women make enough just for themselves, right? They don't make it for the purpose of raising up their man, unless they have no choice, right? They aren't going to make enough money to bear half, if not, or a significant portion of the bills. They're going to expect the man to come in and do that, right? But if you want equal pay and if you want equal opportunity, you've got to have the equal responsibility. That comes with the territory. And like I said, women are becoming increasingly more and more single, so they can happily bear the entire bills on their own. and they make good money for some of them. However, there's only a small fraction of these women, and unfortunately, social media celebrates this, obviously because it sells, and they promote the narrative. And unfortunately, again, all women who aren't being guided by society will focus on this. So where I'm coming at is that women aren't picking these jobs. They are picking the easier jobs, which logically pays less. Oh man, really, like I say, doing construction work, you can die, In office, what will you get? A paper cut. But when you're doing construction, a cement block can fall on you. Game over. A heavy machinery can roll over you. Game over. You can get into a workplace accident, lose a limb. Chemicals, explosions, shrapnel. You name it, it's all out there. But are women rushing to do it? No. They're rushing to the back end role, to the low risk role. And they should. But then they demand the same pay. So to me, you are now reaching a point where you're shortchanging men. You're asking men to accept a raw deal. And up to a certain extent, I believe they're winning this war. So that's why we have to stop this as gentlemen and as women. We have to understand that there is a risk reward. And eventually, already you're seeing this from a relationship standpoint. Men are walking away. And I can tell you this, at the rate it's going in terms of career and work, you can see men increasingly step back and say, hey, you love it, you take it. You want that money, go for it. And when that day comes, don't blame me because I told you this already early. But it's coming, all right? So what are women shying from? What are they, being afraid of, right? What I would term it as the 3 Ds, right? Women are afraid of these Ds. Dirty, dangerous, and difficult. I'll definitely expand on this in another post. But what I'm trying to say is that if the job has such characteristics, even men are reluctant to go into it, right? So there has to be a risk-reward component, right? Men are also shying away from this. And really, third world countries, people who are in a more difficult state, who are underprivileged, who come from a role of a difficult background, they all take this up because they know that at least there's something for them to do. They may have not much employable skill, but they're willing to trade off their life, in a sense, for some money. And they're doing it oftentimes not for themselves. Men are expected to provide, and that's why they take on these dirty, these dangerous, and these difficult jobs. So salute to these men, really, because without them doing this, there would be no society for us. Imagine you're sitting in an office but no one is clearing the rubbish for you, right? No one is fixing the aircon when it goes down, and no one is restoring the electricity when it comes on. The lift doesn't work. No technician to fix it for you, right? Think about it. Be grateful. I mean, I'm also going through the passage of time, and I'm becoming more grateful for this. And always be kind. Don't look down on people around you just because you might be in a better place, because you should always be grateful. If not, life will humble you. Don't worry, you'll come anyway or other. In my area of expertise, all I see are women fighting for greater representation. But what type of representation? Fortune 500 companies, they're trying to fight to get up there, right? And in representation in the board of directors, positions of leadership, they are saying there are not enough women, having these, big roles in the company. CEOs, directors. They say, where are the women in it? But do you see them champion anything else besides anything above them? No, because you see, it's hypergamy again, it's kicking in. And their primary concern has always been improving themselves, not necessarily contributing to society, but really looking at self-improvement, right? Maybe improving the women's agenda. But do they ever champion for men? Sadly, no. Do they champion for the, like I said, the 3Ds? No. Never going to say, I demand higher wages for these men. They think that it's your right as a man to do these jobs because you're a man. So man up. Be a man. But if you want the man to be a man, you've got to give him and accord him that respect. If not, like I said, life will average out for you. Alright? Life will average out for you. In where the space I'm in, I don't see them fighting to become an IT technician. They say, I want to be an IT technician. Oh, I love fixing PCs, I want to do the coding. I don't see them going for that. I don't see them saying, oh, we don't have enough women doing, back end work, we need more of these women. No, I don't see them do that. Oh, we need more dispatch, delivery officers, to handle the documents. Or we need more women there. No. You know why? Because they look down on people doing that. For example, security guards, do they go out? Oh my God, all of them are men. I insist we need 50% women's representation in security guard services. We need to protect men and women alike. No, none at all. They are looking only up. And like I said, life will average it out. We'll get there, right? We need to have that balancing force and look out for each other. So in the end, what do I look at it? How do I look at it? We all know this is the unspoken truth. But I'm going to say it. They don't really want equality. They don't want it. They want equal benefits, but not equal responsibility. They want equal profits, but not equal losses. They want equal opportunity, but not equal outcome. That's what they strive for. And the law of averages, which I believe in, will come into play. You want something, you got to give something. In life, it works that way. What goes up will have to come down. And what goes down doesn't always stay there, right? It will definitely come back up. So for all of us who are hurting, having a challenging time, dealing with difficult situations, I want you to know that nothing is permanent. If you're put into this difficult situation, you will also come out of it, right? There's a reason there. Like I said, in every lesson, there will be a blessing after. And I want you to take that with you, all right? Women simply don't want to roll with the punches. That comes with the pursuit of excellence, the pursuit of a higher level. It's painful, waking up, having to wake up, making a decision, going for the grind, getting beat up, nursing their wounds again. That's why women are very important for men, you see. Because men go out there and do the really difficult things. But they want a woman to come back to nourish them, nurture them, care for them. Give them that confidence. Because why are the men going out and suffering? If on our own, guys, let's keep it real, right? If men on their own, we were just happy just to take out our PS5s, our Xboxes, our PCs, and just game all day, do Call of Duty, and what other game that you enjoy playing, MMORPGs, in our own fantasy world. But the call to reality comes to each and every one of us. Maybe different points in time. Maybe some just escape certain men. But for the average man, the call to reality will come. Could be a quarter-life crisis, could be a midlife crisis, it could be further down the road, could be a loss of a loved one, or it could be a missed opportunity. But I think for every man, that call to reality will come knocking on our doors. And that's why we have to carry this burden that women are not accustomed to. We have to take on that fantastic beast of life by its horns that women actually don't want. They just want the treasure that's behind it. And they don't realize actually in a wonderful partnership, the man should be going right in the front there, taking the heat from that dragon, that fiery flame, that, you know, sharp claws, the massive fangs, fighting that dragon for that princess at home. But women want it changed. They want to go out there and fight that dragon, and let them go for it. But they say they want that dragon as in life, the chance of life to be easier. It's not fair. Life isn't fair, you realize that now. As humans, I think we can try to make things a bit more fair for each other. Not just for our fellow human beings, but I think for the planet, for everyone on the planet. We can do better, and I think we should. But life isn't fair, alright? Unless you live in another plane of reality, which unfortunately, the fairer sex does come from there, right? They dwell a lot in that reality. But it's coming, it's all coming. It's all coming full circle, alright? It's coming back to roost. So my message here is, men don't fight. I mean, we always don't believe in violence against women. Alright? We all must come from a place of confidence and assurance, right? We know we can provide. We know we are contributors. We know we make the world go round. We know we built this world. And we know we've got each other's backs. And that we can trust each other, right? And we're all on that island. And we've got just each other as men to rely on. We will definitely know our place. We will definitely work towards survival. And sad to say this, modern women are increasingly becoming the common enemy. It's sad though. I mean, I would want them to be our inspiration, our purpose of living. Our purpose for us to scale that mountain, explore that barrier that we knew we could not reach on our own, to carry that burden, that, that cross in a sense with the spikes on it, crown of thorns. Men are the one carrying that burden. What for? For mankind. Well, as you might argue again, hey, it's not in my society. It's not prevailing in my culture. Up to a certain extent, that makes sense. That's true. I think different cultures will have different values, but Western influence has permeated all fabrics of society. We cannot deny it, right? Western influence is there. If you go to McDonald's, you already got Western influence. And what I see in where region I'm in, and how I see the developments in the world, we are becoming more and more westernized. We are becoming more and more liberal. We're becoming more and more democratic. And that's the reality of it. And as men, we just watch the world go its way. And we just watch the world progress the way it is. But we know deep down, we are the ones that made the world go round. We are the ones that built that foundation for us to thrive in. So I hope to catch you guys for another stream of consciousness, as you might say. And again, do like, do subscribe if you enjoyed this. Do put a comment. Welcome to have a discussion or debate on it, and welcome to expand on it. And do share if you think this will help a fellow person undergoing some changes in their life. And again, staying average with extraordinary results. That's what we're working towards too. And I hope you have a good day.